Tom Brady going to the broadcast booth after he retires broke yesterday at the end of our show. So I addressed it quickly, but we didn't know the terms. It was just the report that he was going to go to Fox Sports to be their number one analyst after he retired. Later in the day, the numbers came out. 10 years. Brace yourselves. Pull over. Put on the blinker. Okay? Stop what you're doing. 10 years, $375 million to call football games.
Oh, okay.
Goose. Note that over the course of his 22-year NFL career, he has made $335 million. So in more than twice as long, Brady has made less playing than he will calling games.
What?
That's right. So there's a lot here to unpack. Number one, when this news hit, and I said this in the offseason last year, coming out of this year when he was, quote, retired for his 40 days, I said, I don't think he's going to become a broadcaster because that just feels beneath Brady. Tom Brady's next layer of his life, his career, I always imagined to be about health, wellness, being this kind of guy who defies age forever. TB12 method, open up his TB12 gyms and nutrition centers, push the books, the lifestyle, do corporate speaking engagements. He also has now a production company. They announced, remember, the creation of that major motion picture with Lily Tomlin and others, Sally Field, that is now in production. That was a couple of months ago. So I just felt like he had his hands in that type of stuff, and sitting in a broadcast booth calling out zero blitzes was going to be a little beneath his time. He had an empire to run. So I saw this news yesterday, and my first thought was, wow, didn't see that coming. My second thought was, wow, I thought he wanted to commit more time to the family after he retired, that the whole bit has been, just give me my time on the football field now. I'll give it back to you after football is over. And now, at the very least, he's going to be traveling for work 3 or 4 days a week for half the year. Interesting. But then it all came together. Then it made complete sense, because then I saw the money.
It's about the money. MONEYDA.
When do you say to hell with family? When do you say, yeah, I could talk Matt Eberflus on Thanksgiving? When somebody hands you $375 million. That's when. I mean, I don't want to be shallow about this, but my guess is Brady was like, I'm not doing that for $15 million a year. I'm not doing that for $20 million a year. I ain't doing that for $25 million a year. You have to pay me so much, I can't say no. That's my guess in how this happened. You have to give me so much money that it would be insane for me and my family to say no. That I could bring this number back to Giselle and I could tell her, look, honey, I know you want me at home. Honey, I know you want my travel to be done. Honey, I know I said I'd commit to you for the rest of my life, the rest of our lives after my playing career is done, but look at the number. That you'd have to give him that number to where even Giselle would say, yeah, you got to take it. And that's this number. Because Tom Brady, I mean, blows everybody out of the water who has ever done sports broadcasting. In fact, I heard this number yesterday, and I'm not completely sold on it, but I think it's probably close to the truth, because there's numbers out there that I'm seeing on charts and graphs and lists, and I know that that's not all accurate. Those are from some quick, silly Google searches and, slideshows. But I heard that the highest paid people on TV will now be Judge Judy, Oprah, and then Tom Brady. And that sounds about right. There's nobody in the sports atmosphere that does $37 million, by the way, for 20 days of work. He'll be on the air 20 days. Say what you want about Stephen A. Smith, but the guy works 390 days a year. I'm pretty sure he works every single day, and then there's a few twofers in there during the NBA playoffs. He's everywhere all of the time. He's always on TV. Always. Brady is only going to be on TV once a week for 3 hours for 20 weeks. That's it. For $37 million a year for a decade. It is the type of money that you just say, even if I don't want to do this, I have to do this. Really, it's that type of money. You might say, well, D.A., he's got all the cash he needs, and Gisele's doing quite well, thank you, and that is true. But somebody hands you $375 million, no matter how much you make, no matter how much you're worth, to do something that's kind of easy? Yeah, all right, fine. I think that's the bit here, that there just was no way for Tom Brady to say no. Because again, at the end of the day, yeah, he's going to call Super Bowls once every 3 or 4 years. That's awesome. He'll call the NFC Championship game every year. That's awesome. He'll call playoff games. Those are always fun. But he also has to go to Detroit every couple of years on Thanksgiving. Not great. There's also a potential Giants-Commanders game in there. There's a Cowboys-Vikings game in there. It's not all fun and game where every week you get an awesome game, because sometimes the awesome game goes to Sunday Night Football, often. Now, some of the awesome games will go to Monday Night Football with Buck and Aikman. Sometimes the awesome game's on CBS. And sometimes the number one Fox game is Bucks-Panthers. Sometimes. And now Brady's got to get up for that. So I just think it's the type of cash that you go, all right, fine. All right, fine. I'll talk Matt Rule for 3 hours on Sunday. It's $37 million. Secondly, I do think there's an element of ego involved in this for Tom Brady, where he views this as, look at my number. That's what I'm worth. He never got that in New England. He always had to take less in New England to build a winner, take less sacrifice. And now he gets to put his name in lights. That's how much just me, my brand, is worth. I'm worth that for a decade, just to attach your name to my brand. Peyton Manning doesn't make that. Tony Romo doesn't make that. Troy Aikman doesn't make that. Charles Barkley doesn't make that. I think there's an element of ego. Look at my number. I also think there's going to be an element of this where Tom Brady tries to do it better than anybody's ever done it, because that's kind of who Tom Brady is. Let's push the bar. Let's try to elevate this. Let's do this better. And look, I don't think it'll take much to do it better than, say, Romo. Romo is effervescent. Romo is funny. Romo is shoot from the hip. But Romo doesn't do a ton of film study. Romo does not spend days interviewing coaches and players to get insight. Romo just kind of walks in there, yeehaw, let's call the game. Aikman's very good, but Aikman can be a little dry. If Brady is really insightful and doesn't mind criticizing, he has incredible credibility. He's not as funny as Peyton Manning, so not sure how that's going to work, but could Brady do tons of film work and do it better? Sure, because Brady's a workaholic. Does he want to do that? I don't know. But there's an element here of ego where Brady probably says, I can do it better than these other guys. I think it's a huge risk. I think for Fox, it's a huge risk. Because this arms race of television salaries where just spend the money to get the guy no matter what, whatever that costs, whether it was Buck and Aikman, Al Michaels for Amazon, Romo when his contract came up at CBS. They went out and had to grab Drew Brees before he went anywhere at NBC. And now Brady is this incredible arms race, and there's not a lot of evidence that people watch football games because of the announcers. It certainly feels big when Brady's on it, but I don't know how much that's worth to a rating. I don't know how much that's worth to an audience number. And look, again, Brady's not as funny as Peyton Manning. He's not funny, but he's not as kind of sarcastic and self-deprecating as Peyton Manning. A lot of his humor is kind of created from his PR team on social media. He's also not as yee-haw as Tony Romo. And he has never shown, ever, to be willing to go to controversial places like a Charles Barkley. So I'm not sure this is going to be a great fit. I think he'll probably work at it. I don't think he's the type of guy that shows up Sunday morning and hasn't looked at a chart yet. But I'm not sure he's must-see TV. So there is a big risk there. But there's also, and I don't begrudge him for this, there is also a layer of this that is pretty narcissistic. And again, the money is so crazy, he probably just could not say no. But you've been in everybody's homes for 22 years, and now you're making sure you're in everybody's home on Sunday again for another decade after that. You are now carving out 32 to 35 years of I'm the guy that everybody always talks about on Sunday. And it's like, you won't be able to escape him again. He's played for twice as long as he should have, and now will be on TV for a minimum of 10 years because I don't think Fox is going to give that money back. And another layer to this is that Tom Brady may have taken this job because a good way to sell youth and to TB12 acolytes and to sell smoothies and books and cookbooks and leisure wear and athletic wear and all of the things that go into the TB12 lifestyle is to be on TV in front of tens of millions of people every single Sunday on camera. He's going to get that Botox and that collagen. He's going to keep dyeing that hair so that he looks youthful and vigorous and young for as long as possible. And every day that he's on TV, he's going to sell another couple of cookbooks, another couple of gym memberships to TB12. So, look, it's the type of cash you could never say no to, no matter what you're doing, especially if it's kind of easy, which it is. I mean, imagine somebody paid you. Let's see, Brady's making about this now. So let's just say somebody offers you your highest salary that you've ever earned, and they're going to guarantee you 10 years of that salary, and you get to work half the year for 3 days a week. You would probably take it and say, honey, I got to take this job. I know I'm retired, but I got to take this job. It's as much money as I've ever made. It's guaranteed for 10 years, and it's way easier than what I used to do, and it's only 3 days a week. He'll probably fly in Thursday night, interviews on Friday with the coaches and players, meetings with his TV staff on Saturday, call the game on Sunday, fly home Sunday night, or if it's a late game, Monday morning. Actually, no, I take that back. He doesn't have to wait on airlines. He will fly out immediately after the game on his private jet. fly in, fly out, never have to go through Newark.